morning. Happy Friday. Welcome back to our quick 30-minute North Fork live chat. I, Sunitha, and my two co-hosts, Tracy from Miss Tracy Kessler and Lauren from Story Petals, hop on every Friday and chat about everything North Fork. And we usually have a guest on. And today we are, well, I should say we're always excited because we are talking food. And if you watch our show regularly, you know food is, good morning, how are you?
Hi, can't believe I'm first.
Good morning, Lauren.
Hi, how are you ladies? Hey, Tilly.
Good, how are you? I was
She's in a milk coma, so we're in good shape for today.
Oh, what a beautiful place to be.
Of course, now that I said that, you know she'll start screaming.
I was saying
Right
that
on cue.
As soon as I hit the live button, I'm like, oh, who do we have today? And I'm always excited, but today I feel like I'm double excited. Hi.
Hi, Mama.
Because
Good morning.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah, can you turn your camera this way?
You mean like this?
Yes. There you go.
Let me see if I can get it set up this way because I have my headphones in. Go ahead, girls.
Attached to the phone. I like it. We're repping the Carabella today.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it's the
look at
only way
you.
for me to stay silent at the restaurant is to keep these headphones on.
I dig
That
it.
works. Oh,
Happy
good job.
Friday.
Good job.
happy Friday. I know. I was hoping there wouldn't be any rain today because yesterday was just nonstop rain, but it hasn't lifted yet, at least where I am. It hasn't lifted. Is it planning to lift?
I don't know, but it is looking brighter, so that's a step in the right direction.
We have a
We
little
need to add
sun
a
peeking
segment.
through.
We need to have a segment on our show about like what the weather's like. It's a go-to topic for us guys.
I feel like that's my go-to post every night. It's like, okay, today I'm waiting to say it's warm and balmy, breeze, like when does that gonna happen? Whoops. Hopefully it was only the camera and not you, Sarah.
No.
Oh, believe me, it's a lot of jerry rigging for us every week too. It's just that we've done it enough time. The camera stays in.
Oh,
She's
thanks.
really upset, Sarah.
I'm so sorry, Tilly.
You jinxed it, Tracy. You should have said anything.
All right, I'm going to
my
leave
God.
because otherwise you're going to keep losing me.
I dig it. All good. What you guys don't know is that Jeff is actually holding my phone right now. No, I'm only kidding.
Hey, Jeff. Good morning.
Oh my God! And I could my tripod today. I don't know what it is. At 9:55, I go, "Where's my tripod?" So mine is jerry rigged with a magnet. I don't know what's going on. We're all in the same boat. But anyway, let's hop on and dive right into it. We are going to so many questions and so much you want to know about. So
I just want to let you guys know that trying to carve out this time is so difficult because even at this exact moment, my Optimum guy just showed up because I think, like all of us, we have the worst service from Optimum. Hi, come on in. So I apologize for the interruption.
Make the Wi-Fi
I'm just
better.
doing a live interview right now. Come through this way, and then I'll get you set up in the office. Good morning.
Listen, real life. This is what it's like.
So literally, when you guys had asked me to join, I was like, I could try, but this is like the busiest part of my day because it's when we're putting together like all the little things that lead into the weekend. And so, yeah, Optimum's here.
I
maybe
love
the
it.
service will drop. That'll be even better.
You know what? Maybe it'll just get even better while they're there.
Billy does not like that.
Okay,
No.
so for someone who's watching us and lives under a rock and doesn't know who you are and what you do, let's start there, Sarah. Tell us what do you do, and all the stuff we know.
Okay, so I'm a co-owner at First and South in Greenport Village. It's a 10-year-old restaurant. We opened in 2012, and we are really community-based. We're obviously food-focused, local food being at the forefront of that. We try to work with all of our friends and neighbors to incorporate not only their products, but the byproducts of their products. So not just oyster shells, but sometimes you find jewelry made of oyster shells or dishes, so on and so forth. So we bring that through in everything from our tables, our pillows, to what's on your plate.
I love it. It's such a community-based spot. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's how I know you, and it's like the go-to for everyone, whether you're near or far. I think it's like a home base for a lot of people. Okay.
Well, I wanted to say before Tilly started screaming was that, we should absolutely mention that when we go through our top 5, First and South is almost always mentioned as a favorite of everyone. So we want you to know that, and our listeners should know that you are, highly, highly rated by everyone in town, everyone local or new. They all love your establishment.
Thank you. We had good friends come for dinner last night, and their son just got his working papers.
Oh, that's so exciting.
The first thing he told his mom was that I should get a new phone. Was that he wanted to come apply at First and South, and came for dinner last night, filled out an application at the table, and when I told him I'd call him tomorrow to let him know about his shift for Sunday, ran outside on his cell phone and called his best friend to let her know that he was going to get hired. And that to me is the epitome of what we're trying to do here, be a place that's not only for someone who's new to the North Fork, but someone who grows up on the North Fork. So it was really special.
That's
well,
so awesome.
You're doing it really well, Sarah. You really are.
Thanks, ladies.
Well, I know everyone.
I have some feedback coming through. I don't know if it's solvable, unless it's only at my end.
I hear a little feedback as well.
Yeah, I hear it on both of you guys.
Now I hear it on me too. Better.
So we're all having technical difficulties, so don't feel bad.
What cuisine would you say serve? I mean, everything I've eaten there is delicious, but what would you describe your, I would say there's a lot of comfort food. So what are most popular comfort foods there?
Yeah, we do definitely hearty comfort food. We want it to be an elevated but approachable quality product, right? And so a lot of that in American cuisine is comfort food. We do an incredible mac and cheese. We have baked and then lightly fried wings. We do shishito peppers for the lighter option versus our triple blanched French fries. So we like to say hearty comfort food. And I like to say that it's, high end without the pretension. We put a lot of effort into making all of our sauces from scratch, making our food from scratch. So you're getting that high end value without the white tablecloth aspect. And I feel like it's approachable. We try to keep the price point approachable, which is pretty darn difficult these days. But
yeah, it's an understatement.
We built in all sorts of new weekly specials this year so that people that live here could still manage to come here a couple days a week and find a bargain, find something that they could satisfy themselves with instead of, having to make it only a special occasion location. We want to see you a couple days a week. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's cheers.
It totally cheers for food, yes. And then you the word location, and the first thing I thought of was, first of all, you're in the heart of Greenport, which is an amazing city. But I think one of my first experiences of being there, maybe 5 or 6 years, me and my husband came for brunch, and it was in spring, and cherry blossoms were in full bloom. And I remember ordering a breakfast and sitting at the inside benches and just looking out the window, cherry blossom, and I was just like, wow, it's just a peace and serenity that comes across, with where you're located. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. This location really spoke to me the first year I had moved out here, and there was no one in the location at the time. And I was like, I could do so much with that. Look at this place and the cherry blossom trees just arching over the patio and the wraparound porch. It just had so much charm naturally. It was really easy to highlight those items. And because we're not on Front and Main, we are a little off the beaten path, so it's quieter. So when we have those festival weekends, this always becomes a safe haven for people to kind of escape. And when it's pumpkin time or high traffic, you can always sneak in through the back roads. You don't have to come through Main, so you don't even have to really touch town, and you can still get the village feeling without being in the heart of the village.
I find that First and South is, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Which is I think a great aspect to have out here. I mean, obviously you want everyone and their mother to know that you exist. And I just think the word of mouth is just such a prominent marketing tool for you, because I think anyone who goes there, again, whether it's the first time they've been to the North Fork or they live out here, Everyone feels welcomed. And in addition to the food, I just have to call out, I mean, we just talked about your staff and hiring a new person and whatnot, but just to have that familiarity, I mean, just to be able to walk in and, you know, they know us and we know them and names, and it's just so wonderful. And I think it's just, there's a tribute to leadership there. So not to toot your horn too much. God, you're gonna walk around today being like, oh my goodness, can I get through the day? But I just think the staff is just, in addition to the food, just like one of the better qualities of your restaurant. I mean, it's just like, it's insane.
Thank you. Yeah, we do. We're really fortunate. We have an incredible core team, and everyone is like family, and they do know your name. We've been playing Cheers a lot on the downtime in between March Madness on the TV.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, we have a new assistant general manager and a new executive chef that joined us that are friends for a long time. They came out from Fire Island. They've been flirting with the idea of leaving Fire Island and moving to the North Fork, which is my story. And it's so great to see them, see every person walk in, say hi, have us know what they drink, know their name, know their kids, ask how their parents are. It's impressionable for that every one of my staff has a connection to someone one way or the other. And if we don't, by the time you leave, we probably do.
Right.
Sometimes that can be daunting for new diners, the familiarity.
Yeah.
You want to be anonymous when you dine, and we understand that. So it's something that you kind of have to build into training too. It's like, not everyone wants to be your best friend. They're on a date. Let them have their moment. But there's a lot of concierge service that goes into serving tables or waiting on tables or being a bartender or a manager. Mm-hmm. People have questions. They've never been here before. They want to explore. That's why, you know, shows like this and this moment, or like all of your stories, have little gems like hidden in them for people that you never know about.
Right. And I think we've forgotten about one of the largest aspects of First and South, and you, Sarah, is Chad and your dog. And having the ability to just like pop in and have him there and him greet you. I mean, he's another host, so I believe he's on the payroll and needs to be accredited in this story.
He came last night after we were closed in the dining room, and there were some girls that were out celebrating a bachelor party that have never been to the North Fork. They're here from Jersey. And my little cousin is waiting tables here right now, Kyle, and he's waiting on them. And Chad walked over to him to get pet, and the girls were so excited that the puppy's here. And he was like, oh, this is the owner. And they were all like, ha, 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 like thinking he was just being like flirtatious and funny. Yeah. And then I came over to the table to talk to them for a minute and just to make sure Chad wasn't bothering them. And they were like, yeah, so is this dog here like all the time? And I was like, yeah, well, he's mine. I'm here a lot. And they were like, he's really the owner? You know? Like, I was like, mm-hmm. I'm like, he pays all the taxes, all the bills. I was like, he's in charge of all the meetings.
I love it. I love it. It's just so awesome.
Well, it
makes it easy.
I also think, Sarah, you know, there's not a lot of restaurants that you go to that you actually get to connect with the owner. I think that's something that's really special about First and South also, is that you're always there and you're always greeting everyone and saying hello. Accessible, which I love.
This is my passion. This is what I set out to do. And so creating this sort of safe space for people in the restaurant world. Like, I had started bartending when I was 21 after serving tables and hostessing, and most people's reaction to that was like, run, get out of this business. And I was like, what? Like, but this is what I want to do. And I knew it was what I wanted to do. And it took me a long time. I went to culinary school, and I wanted to put stuff on paper for investors and make sure that I was in the right place to do it. And the North Fork really was that, because the same way you're talking about the word of mouth from earlier, it's easy to have word of mouth when you have this sort of like connected map of purveyors and clientele. So my oysterman is also one of our best guests, you know, like our farmers are also coming for lunch when their family's in town. And when you can pull that together, people, the North Fork is long, but small, right? And so if you have people in Jamesport that know you by name because you're purchasing their products, or out in Orient, there's just so much return. And we can't forget about the Shelter Island aspect as well. Like, we're getting incredible oysters from Eeltown right now. And it's so nice to have people come over from Shelter and have that moment where they're like, ooh, we're on the map. All right, you know?
One of the things I also love about this food is the creativity you have in creating gatherings, like one of the things you summer camp. I want to talk a little bit more about that is, and also, whole like have a pig roast sometimes. So there's so many different things to do not that invite the local people coming back, but there's such a variety. It's not that a standard delicious food is delicious coming back for, but you have a lot of different. So I want to hear more about how do you come up with those, what you have going on.
I mean, so much of it is customer feedback and what people want to see, right? So you come out to the North Fork and you're thinking you're going to get this really kind of rural or bucolic experience, and then you kind of realize that it's still Long Island, right? There's still shops and there's still proper lifestyle here. And people are really looking for those things. So things like our Monday night pig roast, we feature a lot of craft beer. And we were like, how do we feature these beers? And then we were like, well, pig roast would be a great aspect. And so we started doing that Monday night pig roast to complement Monday night music in the park, which happens in Greenport Village in Mitchell Park. And so we were like, this would be great. People can come down, eat a quick plate, have a couple of beers, and then walk to the park. Like, what a fun, full evening. And so that kind of originated just out of what was around us. Like, how do we fit into the plan here? Tuesdays, we've always done live music, and we always feature really great local artists, and that's been for years. So that just sticks. Like, we feature pupusas right now because a lot of on our staff make incredible pupusas, and we were like, why are we just eating these? We should share them. And there's a little shop, Rinconcita, in Greenport that does mostly just pupusas in traditional style, and we're always getting to go from there. So we were like, why don't we do this one night a week, not step on their toes and do it full time, but we got to feature what these girls have to offer. Thursday night, tiki night, two of our servers, a server and a bartender, are just passionate about tiki. They love it. They love the style. They love the cocktail. So when they joined our team and they were just talking about it, it was something for us that I was like, well, if this is what you want to do, like, let's go with it. We were already doing pad thai on Thursdays just to bring a different kind of food flavor into it. American food is a melange of everything else, right? Oh, hey, Dad.
Sorry, we
need visitors.
Well, speaking of the pad thai, I know Patrice and Mike were there last night, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, and they were just raving about the pad thai. So next Thursday, you will be seeing me, the child in tow.
Yeah.
I think also that's another thing, just talking about your nights that you're themed and whatnot, but also it's just a great go-to for families and dates. It kind of like checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
So people who haven't been to the restaurant yet, I mean, it literally, you can go on the most romantic date, get engaged, which my brother-in-law did, at First and South, or you could bring a toddler or Tilly, and everyone's welcome. And it's just, it checks all the boxes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we like puppies and babies.
Puppies and babies and love.
Yeah.
And art.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry. So you left off on Friday. That's where we were with your nights.
Okay. And Friday we're doing raw bar, so we just bring in different oysters. We try to like rotate who we're bringing in. Most of our oystermen eat here. They are just so hardworking. They're so incredible. Like what Cornell is doing with like reinvigorating our waters is epic. So for us to be able to highlight those things, a lot of people attend Celebration, but maybe don't really know what Celebration is. And that event in December is really to fundraise for Cornell to continue to keep our waters clean, to continue to keep our oystermen employed, to continue that aquaculture history here. And so it takes a lot to translate that. Not everybody reads your menu in full detail. They order something that has a sauce on it and they're like, what's this? And you're like, you just that. So you really have to continually like send that message out there. And so that's why we try to just do nights that highlight other things. And Sunita, what you were saying before about summer camp was truly pure luck. I mean, during the hardest time that we had, we just happened to have a neighboring property that we could rent and utilize for outside. And we just wanted people to have something that they could feel safe and still feel like they were part of a community, still feel like there were people out there. It was such an isolating time for everyone. And we really wanted people to still know that, right behind that door, there was someone else. And so to be outside and to be in a safe space was really where summer camp came from. Lighthearted and just a fun place to share.
No, definitely. I think we're all repping the merch still.
So fun. And that's what I loved. It was the creativity behind it, because obviously it was something you had to pivot towards. It wasn't, when you're running a restaurant, there's so much when you're focused on the restaurant part. But I love that surrounding all the food part, you have so much creativity and diverse offerings. One of the things we definitely have to talk about is the big chalkboard, like, because when Carol was on here, I think she mentioned that you were one of the first ones to, give her a break, so to speak, and be able to show art. So we'll talk a little bit about that massive chalkboard.
When Kara was when we first met, she was doing really social media and photography for businesses. And I had hired her for that. And she was robbed in Brooklyn when she was moving out of her place, and all of her equipment was gone. So she came out here just downtrodden, right? As anyone would be. She was like, that's it. That's my career. I just started. Okay, great. And the chalk mural was done by one of my previous employees who was a graphic designer the first year. And he did an incredible job, but he was moving away. And I was like, how are we going to take this giant piece of artwork and really, change it? You can't change a setting in a dining room constantly, but you can change artwork, right? So it feeds that fetish of like moving your furniture around.
Oh yeah.
And it allows us to highlight different things that are in season or the time of year. And so when Kara had come, I was personally at a loss for what I was going to do with the board. And I was like, well, she went to school for fine arts. I was like, why don't you give it a go at this? And she was like, but what if it's terrible? I was like, well, then we erase it. No one needs to know, right? Like,
I love it.
Let's see. And it was stunning. And it's been stunning ever since. And it gets easier and harder at the same time, because the demand for Kara is so high, and carving out time and creativity to put things like this together.
Yeah.
She really wants to capture the essence of any of the businesses or any of the things that she incorporates. We were literally walking our dogs in Greenport Village, and she wasn't finished with this mural yet. And so as we were doing it, she had this big gap. That space was like a big gap. And we were just walking in the village, and that boat is parked in downtown Greenport right now. And the name of it's Diligence. And we were like, That's it. That's what's missing. That's what we've both shown over the last 10 years to like get where we are. It's like diligence. Like you just keep showing up again. And so it's truly like an amalgamation of like what's in Kara's heart and mind. And it's like lovely that it can come through in this format.
And that you give her the space to do it. I feel like, not to get like super emo on you, but like very Pacey Witter of you to like buy a wall and say like, make your art. And that's a really rare reference if you understand. You get it, Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
But I just feel like you're giving her this blank slate, and it really just, catapulted. But I think at the same time, it's just, we're all in awe of it. And I just think it's just an awesome, amazing thing to have.
Well, she needs more space. So if anybody has, a building
Piano
or a spot that love a mural.
Kara, if you're listening, I've got lots of walls. Come on down anytime.
Kara's really looking to expand. She wants to do more public art in downtown. She really wants to animate villages and get more messages across that way. So I think she's doing some grant writing now to see where she can get herself placed in larger format. So we'll see what Kara has coming up in the next year.
Riverhead could really use her. That revitalization it's on the up, and we can use her. Yeah.
And they have some beautiful murals in Greenport. The one with the hummingbirds on the yellow wall that's over by where the Salvation Army is stunning. I've always loved that.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Should we do our 5-5?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's jump right into it. So obviously, First and South is your baby and your home. Are there other restaurants that you are currently loving? That
Always. So it was hard to try and pick favorites. I'm not one for favorites. Like my favorite color is green and yellow. So it's like I was like, oh, it just depends on like. So I like to break it up into moments. And so for me, like I love, if I'm running errands, to be able to stop at Legends in the afternoon and grab a snack and sit at the bar there. It's just, it has this original place of safety for me. When I first was out here at Jedediah Hawkins, that was one of the only places that was open late enough for me to go to, where I could feel like I had a social life, where I had friends. I love going to Sterling Sake in the Village if I have actual time for like a lingering meal. They do such an incredible job there, and it's so traditional, and they bring in these incredible sakes, and it's such a fun thing to learn about. I absolutely love Yuki, and the music he plays is incredible.
Yeah.
1943 and Bricks, like any night of the week, like you ask me to meet you there, I'm there. Like that just sounds great. I'll be there. And Little Creek for me at like the end of a weekend, just to sit outside and mellow out. You never know who you're gonna run into, like who's staying on Sunday night and like not going back to work Monday morning or working from home is really nice. So you get time to catch up with people that you just haven't had a chance to see. So those are kind of my go-to moments.
Now you mentioned earlier you probably produce and local farm here, but either for your own customers, are they farm stands gravitating toward, and where do you find yourself?
Wait, so I was getting a little feedback.
Farm stands.
Farm stands. Got it. Thank you. Well, again, so this is kind of like where we're at right now. I don't know if you guys can see, but Latham's is like one of my go-tos. Not only do I like love the drive, but they just have a really huge selection of so many things that I can grab. I always stop at Seps on the way back from there. Deep Roots is incredible. Like what they're doing as a family is so impressive, and the farm just keeps growing and like incorporating new things. It's just so fun to watch. KK's is right in that area too, and Ira is just holding on to such a brilliant biodynamic farm there, and what he does is incredible. And then you can see the oyster farms are also built into that, but those are my like go-to. And Indian Neck Organics is a new farm that
I don't know this one.
Yeah, so they're on Indian Neck Lane, and I might get this wrong because it could have changed at this point, but it's Sangli had extra acreage, and it's younger generation Sangli farmers that are kind of doing their own sidelong project. So we've been doing like a lot of heirloom carrots from them, certain tomatoes, yellow watermelon when they're in season. So they do really specific crops that come in at certain times that we just buy in bulk and then feature on the menu kind of piecemeal wherever we can get them in.
That's fantastic.
A good gen no one's told us about yet. So that's good info. So if you have time, what winery do you generally get, or what?
So McCall Vineyards is like hands down my favorite. It's definitely no secret. The McCalls were like my first friends out here, and they're just such generous and kind human beings, and they make really hard to grow wines out here. Like Pinot Noir is not necessarily what the North Fork is about, and Russ is just such a stickler for perfection in old world wine, and it carries through in the family. And so I love that they looked at that as a challenge, and they were like, we can apply this, we can do it. They make gorgeous Merlot, their whites are outstanding. The space to me feels like the North Fork. Like that to me is just an ideal spot. You can go and see the cows, you can sit in the barn, you can be out in the field. It's so charming. It's my favorite. Sparkling Point is another one that's just outstanding and has a concentration in something that's so brilliant. It's like, let's do this one thing and let's do it really well. And the space is so over the top gorgeous that like you walk in there and you're like, I'm fancy. Like this. You know, like
it's like an instant like
wow, I didn't know this was on the North Fork. So you go from somewhere where you're sitting in like, you know, a cow stall, and it has its own charm and its all own like high end aspect. And then you take them somewhere like Sparkling Point, and they're so opposite, but the core elements are the same. You know, it's quality, it's perseverance. It's outstanding to have like those two things. And you have little places like One Woman that are just so charming and so hardworking, and it's really just about the wine and the cultivation of that. And you know, they're behind making wine for so many people. It's so impressive. Like we're just surrounded by so much talent here. It's crazy.
Yeah. I know I'm up next, but I can't remember the next question.
Well, I took your question, but I will jump right back into, I know you're working your hours at the restaurant. Insane. So do you get to catch a sunrise or a sunset? And do you have a favorite spot? Sure.
Yeah. Sunrise all the time. I happen to live like in Greenport on the edge of town where there's waterfront. So the sunrise is like every morning, and this like late winter, early spring has just been outstanding. There's been some really stunning mornings. So you could be in Mitchell Park down by Fortino's, and just have the most glorious moment to yourself, because there's just no one in Greenport that early in the AM, and it's almost like a movie set. And for me, the sunset is usually on the Crosstown Ferry coming back from Mystic, heading to Mystic. That's like where I like to go to kind of disappear for a day, and you just get this perfect sunset. And on the drive back from Orient, right where Latham's is, you're kind of at that high spot of the hill where you see just how narrow the North Fork is, and you see how precarious it is that we've like settled here and spread out in such a way, and the sun sets behind it, and you have the curves of like the blocks to come. It's just, those are my favorite spots. Like every time I'm driving back from Orient and I'm near Latham's, it's just like a big deep breath moment.
Well said, Sarah.
Take it.
Well said. So if you could sum up for us why you love being a part of the community, tell us why you love being part of the North.
I mean, there's not really much that you can't love about it. So it's like, I was like, one sentence. I'm like, how do I do this in one sentence? And I just think it's, I guess it's just like the small town vibes kind of in a big sky landscape, right? So you can make it what you want. Like it can feel as small and as intimate as you need it to. And then you can also find the time and space to really be on your own, in nature and on a really beautiful part of Long Island, which is hard to find, so.
I love it. Yay.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Your restaurant your food is delicious, your restaurant is beautiful, and also in this chat with you, I feel like you are the epitome of community, and it's so amazing that obviously the people who work with you, but also the people that provide the produce, and even the like one big person south. So thank you for providing that for all of us.
Thank you.
And for sure, please come back. We always want to hear more about whatever's going on there. Hopefully, your minimum guy all your but please come back, and we'd love to chat again.
All right, awesome. It's great to see you, ladies.
Thank
Yay.
you.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see
All right,
you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.